this is keeping it very real today. And so I have some prepping to do. And this is currently what my workstation looks like. I am in the process of fixing this drama. I also need to go through a bunch of my fabrics and either hurry up and use them or sell them, because I have decided on a new life goal, which is to use only waterproof canvas for linings, but we're obviously not there yet. So let me just tell you all that I am in fact live and pull it up so I can see all of your comments, because otherwise it's going to be a bit harder to respond to you all. So, I am now live, and I will put a link for anyone. I do tend to always do this if I have this handy. I don't always have my computer near me though, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, let's go watch it. Let you all know that I am in fact live. So the reason I am doing a prepping video, for those that voted on prepping video versus live vixen, the reason we're doing prepping is because my husband has a late start, so he's inside banging around doing life stuff. So because of that, I have decided to be doing prepping instead. So yay! Hello, Nikki and Anne-Marie. I do try and do Tuesdays as a live, and I don't do lives on patterns I've never done before. I have rules. I don't have many rules in life, but that's one of them. So that if you've come to me purely for a tutorial purpose, the video that you're watching will be purely factional on the pattern and not me chatting to people. The lives are more about prepping especially, but also if I've already made the pattern in a video a few times, I can do live, and because you guys tend to be less interested in what I'm doing and more interested in what I'm saying. So for that reason, that's how I do it. Now, me and my life decisions, I decided the other day that I need a manager to like help me organize everything, to which someone said use AI, so I am now doing that. And in response to that, I have messaged some new pattern designers that I had previously never heard of, so that I can go back to doing videos on new patterns that exist out in the world that aren't just my own. So I have a few of those pre-cut. I also have things that are like half cut, so we're going to deal with that today as well. But this is called the Mallory Mini Crossbody bag. And I can show you the pattern pieces because there are no measurements. So we're going to be cutting one of those. This is a Lola that I have half cut. I've cut the lining interfacing, the bag foam, but I have yet to cut out an exterior, and I will most likely be... Actually, I was going to embroider this, but I've just had a thought. I have some vinyl here. I have so much vinyl, guys. It's getting outrageous. Hello, everybody. Deborah, Hazel, and Jane. I do a lot of random things. I am not terribly organized. I understand it's one of my life flaws, but what are you going to do? That's why I think I need a manager to keep me on track. But what I'm doing right now is, because this is mostly cut, I bought a vinyl that has cat faces on it, and I think it will go quite nicely as a Lola. I'm just trying to find where it is amongst the insane amount of printed vinyl that I have. This is also not a normal basket that I would use. So I got this. How glorious is this? It's a slicker, buttery smooth. It's shiny, it's non-textured, but it's got like sugar skull cats. So I'm thinking I might just do a Lola out of this. They only come quite thin. It's less than 12 inches. It's more like 11 and a half, which only works for certain patterns. But I'm thinking that I might use this to create the Lola because it suits the lining. It's going to be a very cat bag, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So we're going to do that. I've also, me and Candy, for anyone that doesn't know, Candy is my glorious Locklick heat press. It's auto press 2, I believe. I reset it and now it works fine. So I don't know what I did. But as usual, it was probably operator error. What can I say? I'm not very good at things like that. Now I like to cut from the back. So the first thing I'm going to do is find my scissors, which are here. And I always like to cut off this bit that's not printed. If you do it at the start, you don't have to think about it ever again. So I'm sitting here, or standing here, trying to decide, do I make the whole bag black and white, or do I make the base and the straps a colour? Purple would be the obvious choice. Make myself some comfy pants. Oh my god, I love comfy pants. Currently, I am in like workout pants. I don't know why, but I felt like putting them on this morning. And since none of you actually care what I wear, I just wear what I want. So now that I have cut that edge off, I don't have to think about it. And so I'm going to line this up as close to the edge and the base as possible to waste as little as possible. I don't like waste. So from this piece was only like, I think $8. Unfortunately, you can't buy it by the meter. I like taller. In a perfect world, I'd at least buy half-meter pieces, but this was the biggest this came in. So because of that, I can only make certain style bags. So for example, it wouldn't fit the front panel of a kangaroo crossbody bag, but it does fit this one. And then there's enough room up here for a crossbody strap if I needed it. So I just need to pick and choose which ones are going to work here. This is a template that I did not cut with the laser. This was pre-laser, this thing. This thing dates back to like 2 houses ago. It's cut out of just cheap MDF 3mm board, and we use the jigsaw. And when I say we, I really mean my husband did it, because he is amazing. He's also decided that the room I'm currently in, he wants as a personal gym at home. So I will eventually be moving all of this inside permanently to make it all pretty, which I'm very excited about. I love making dresses too. I haven't made any lately because it's freezing cold and I don't want to wear them. But in saying that, I will probably make a bunch soon. I'm also going to go through all of my sewing clothing patterns that I have and sell off a bunch of them. I was actually thinking I might just sell them $2 each and just make them go away. I have a four drawer filing cabinet full, which is excessive and unnecessary. I also want to sell the filing cabinet because I don't need that many patterns that I never even look at. So I will do either a sewing garage sale where people can just come look and buy what they want, or I'll eventually maybe put them online. I haven't quite decided yet. Anyway, sometimes this is just better to hand cut. He is so handy. My husband is awesomely supportive of all things crafting. He likes to craft too. He does forging and makes knives, like all the cool layered ones with the designs in them. He makes some glorious things. He's actually got his international strongman competition. He's going to compete for the world's strongest man in Ireland in like 2 weeks, which is very cool. And then when he gets back, he can have himself a gym at home for when he can't be bothered going all the way to the gym but still wants to do some forms of workout. Hello, Donna. You have not missed much. These are not lefty scissors. Okay, so what happens is this is actually reversed. So these are, I'm right-handed, these are right-handed scissors. The only downside to doing cutting videos is the stand that you're in. I can't face the phone. I could maybe face the phone the other way, but the 1 or 2 times I've tried it, the backing pushes buttons and turns it off. So unfortunately, we will just have to deal with me being backwards. this is against a wall, so I can't just put stuff behind it. But these are Fiskars scissors. They were like $21. They are very good, and I'm pretty sure they do come in left-handed, if that helps anybody. All right, so cat front and back done. There's still enough here to do something else glorious. Like I could make a whole other bag out of that, or I could make like a wallet or something. Who knows? Who knows what I'm going to end up doing? I like making summery pants. The summery pants are the ones that have the really big split up the side, and I enjoy them because it's for when I can't be bothered shaving my legs. We've all been there. Don't even deny it. So I hide my legs in pants while still being summery and cool. Now, I just need to pick an accent. I can either pick black or I can pick a color. What would be even cooler is if I had like glow in the dark. Oh, I've got color changing black. I'm just thinking through my vinyl options. We only really need enough for 2 handles, and I'm going to do like hidden strap connectors. So we really don't need all that much. I just need to pick what color. This is always the hardest bit for me when I'm trying to do stuff. I could do, I mean purple, but I don't think I'm feeling purple. Maybe I will just do black. I do tend to use a lot of black lately though. See, NCWs are fun. I haven't made one of those in ages. Where I've been doing markets, wallets don't seem to be terribly popular. I mean, I could make a bunch more, but I don't know. They just don't really seem to be into it at the moment. Maybe they're out of fashion and I just don't know it. I do have black that heats up and turns green. It's color changing. See that? Oh my god, amazing. So I could do a color changing bag for handles. That'd just be fun. Maybe we'll do that. I love this stuff. This came in the Kings of Horror box that Sandra did with the Kings of Horror dudes. For anyone that doesn't know, it's the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, but like horror characters. I'm so obsessed with these. I'm hoarding them. These are one of the few things in life I'm hoarding because I love it, and I'm sure I'll want to make myself another bag. Hello, Misty. Hello, Tracy. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Today I am prepping. So this is going to be a Lola by Swoon. I sell them for $90. Pricing is very particular. You do what you want. I am just going to I won't get a base. So the base will just have to be plain black. I think that's for the best anyway. And I always, so on all vinyl, and this is literally all vinyl, I like to keep one straight edge for cutting straps. And when I say straps, I mean crossbody straps. So because of that, I am then going to take this and move to this end here and cut the straps from here. I'm making mine 24 inches. 24 inches is a very common strap size for me because it's the size of my ruler. That's literally why. It's a decent sized strap anyway, but it's just convenient to cut it like this. And so I do. I am the queen of lazy, I swear. I know you're all like, oh, you're not lazy. I'm like, yeah, but I am. I always pick the lazy option. And I know it. So don't feel bad for me. I also need to deal with this. I have all my fabric in different tubs. And they're sorted into like genre. It's my attempt to be organized. There's my straps. Do I want strap connectors out of this? Is the real question. They're going to be hidden, but it might be fun that they glow green. So this pattern is very, very easy to make. If you're a beginner, this pattern is great for beginners. And that, theoretically, will be enough for strap connectors. Straighten up that edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then if I cut those in half, that's a big enough strap connector for hidden strap connectors. Do what you want with that. I actually probably only need about 3 inches. That's not quite it. That one can go in the bin. But no, this is a great pattern for beginners. Rubbish. Rubbish. Right. Not rubbish, sorry. That bit's rubbish. So that one is now prepped. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make up a bunch of tubs and then I will go to the heat press because I can probably move the camera so you guys can watch. Well, this pile come from inside. It was in a random cupboard and I didn't realize until yesterday. So I brought it out here and dumped it. Not even going to lie. I don't regret it. And so today I was going to deal with it. So first off, I need to sort them into types. I also don't know what I'm going to do. I bought all of this, but now I'm just not sure what I want to do with it. These are chocolate crackles for anyone that is not Australian. Chocolate crackles. They're like rice bubbles with cofa and cocoa and stuff. They're delicious. And what's this? I love this. This was from Inklings in the Kraken. It's beautiful. It's got like zombie hands. We all know I'm a little bit obsessed with all things horror. Zombie hands fits that description. So this is the miscellaneous pile of which I'm going to deal with. This is beautiful. This is so the floral and fauna and flora is one of my tubs where I literally put animals and flowers. This is pretty. I can see someone loving this and I've got heaps of it. Flowers, flowers, lots of flowers. Dreamcatcher goes into the miscellaneous pile. Animals, flowers. These are cool. Roses with barbed wire. I've had that for ages. That's going to go in miscellaneous. Oh, good. Look at all the black. So my mission in life is I've just bought myself a new roll of bag lining interfacing. And my mission in life is by the end of that roll, I am going to switch to all waterproof canvas linings, which means I need to use up all things lining as soon as possible. All right. Tub. This tub's going to be so chockers, which is also means I should start using stuff. Those solid colors I got were actually to do aprons. So maybe if I did aprons, I'd work through a lot of fabric because they take a lot of fabric. And then this is my flora and fauna box. And all of my fabrics, for anyone that needs to know, are on comic book cardboard. It's not a very strong cardboard, but it works for the purposes of this. It helps to like keep them structured in a box because I do love my fabric in a box. Okay, so that's that one done. I'm going to put that over out of the way. Also going to take off my jumper because it's getting quite warm in here already. Okay, next up is this. So this is a brand new pattern that I have never ever made. This feels like it needs to be non-directional. So I'm going to pick a non-directional print. And the question becomes, do I want to make it horror for the market that I've got coming up, or do I want to make it more mainstream for the market 2 weeks after that? It's a hard, tricky question. I also need something non-directional. So that's fun and non-directional and colourful. Ticks a lot of boxes, or I could do like a red. Actually, let's do that because then that's nearly finished. This is how I'm trying to get through fabrics. This is so tidy. You can also stand them up if you want to. I've got them this way in a tub so I can flick through them, but whatever works for you. So we're going to go with this because look, it's nearly finished. There's really not that much left. So it'll get rid of it a lot quicker. And I like that. So we need one external fabric, one lining fabric. These, I actually think I want to cut it. I'm going to turn it this way just for a second. I want to put it on like that, or do I want to put it truly on an angle? You can do these things, especially for non-directional fabrics. But the point is that I'm trying to use it all up, but I still won't be wasteful. So it's non-directional, so I'm just going to put it as close to this edge as possible. I love this fabric. When it first came out at Spotlight, I bought like 8 meters of it. A little bit excessive. What are you going to do? All right. So I just use a normal pen. Me and the rotary cutter are not friends enough where I could just weigh this down and rotary cut around it. I know my limitations. You'll also notice I do it a bit like a sketch. If you just do a single line, quite often it doesn't mark or it doesn't mark dark enough. So I like to do a bit of a back and forth sketch. You're also less likely to miss bits. Stop. Right. Happy. So you can do it 2 ways. You can either cut a piece, draw a piece, cut a piece, draw a piece, cut a piece, or you can draw and cut and then move on. I'm going to draw and cut because I've never made this pattern before and who knows what I'm going to end up doing and where I'm going to put different fabrics. So, we're also going to need a stabilizing fabric on this. So when cutting, always put this part of your scissors on the table when you're cutting. It's more stable and you can cut quicker. Alright, if I'm trying to do this in the air, the fabric's moving, the scissors are moving, especially if I've had too much caffeine. So you need to stabilize them by leaning them here. I had it in black as well. Alright, so this is the card slotty section for the front. This is the gusset. So we're going to do the gusset in vinyl because I really enjoy putting vinyl on bags. So we need one external. So sometimes also I will make piles of lining versus vinyl versus contrasting fabric just to make it easier. What are you? I don't know. Oh, no, so those are if you want to do a vinyl card slot. I'm going to do the fabric card slot because I'm feeling it. I've got a vibe in my head that I want it to look like. D-ring connectors. Now, obviously, these are for 1-inch D-rings. I will have to change mine to be smaller because my D-rings are smaller. I live in a world where I just don't use the same D-rings as everybody else. All of those pieces are for version 2. They do say it on there, so I can set them aside. This is going to be vinyl because this is the side bit. What's this bit? Gusset, vinyl, and vinyl. So those are vinyl and that. These are fabric. Happy days. I feel slightly more organized all of a sudden. So now, again, I am still keeping a straight edge for if I want to do a strip of fabric as an accent along the strap, which I most likely will because it's pretty. So with that being said, we're going to take this, and since it's a rectangle, I'm going to take my ruler and just put it over the top, line it up, because this is easier to draw if you do it like this. You could also cut it with a rotary cutter and a ruler. Right, there to there. Like so. That's that bit done. Happy days. And then I'm going to come over to this bit here and go again. I only ever saw this come in red and black, this fabric, and I have gone through both, and it makes a really pretty apron. Been there, done that. Now, if I was going to make a crap ton of these, which there's nothing to say that I won't, but if I was going to make a crap ton of these, at minimum, I would laminate these with a laminator. But what I would most likely do is cut MDF templates, or I would go to a company that does templates and get them to do it in clear acrylic. It really depends on if you need to center a design or not, as to how much you need the clear acrylic. Because for me, because I've already got the laser, clear acrylic would cost more. But if you're trying to center an image, you kind of need the clear acrylic. And it's the one laser I don't have that I can't cut. And even if I could, would I really? Maybe. No promises though. So there's that. Beautiful. In the tub. Let's cut out the card slotty bit. Again, you rest your scissors and then cut along. I'm also not really using this because it's kind of blunt. I need a new blade. It requires a trip to Spotlight. I'm avoiding doing it. It'll cut vinyl, fair enough, but fabric, not so much. As they get blunt, you need to put more pressure, and that's when accidents happen and you hurt yourself. So this probably won't get interfacing. And if it does, it'll be out of the seam allowance. Rubbish. I've also been thinking a lot lately about like makeup cases. And I'm wondering if I make myself my hussy cases as makeup cases. All right, so that's what's left. I am going to do a strip. We're going to try and cut it with this. I don't love my chances. Also, I need 1.5 inches, and since this is a 6.5 inch ruler, I'm actually going to come to this end because it's just easier, and that's upside down. And it turns out, yes, it does make a difference. Now, even though it doesn't look straight, it is. You're just going to kind of line it up underneath here. So I'm going to cut this piece. I have to put a lot of pressure on this. Do not try this at home. Just get yourself a new blade, honestly. It's not worth cutting your fingers open. But I'm going to do 1.5 inches. Now, this isn't in the pattern because I'm making this up as I go, kind of. So when I do half fabric, half vinyl straps, what I personally like to do is make the strap part 2 inches down to 1 inch, and then this 1.5 inches down to 3/4. It gives you a nice amount of fabric on either side. Now, that's never long enough, so I'm going to cut a second strip, knowing full well that half of it will be wasted, because what I will do is I will turn over the leftover part into a wristlet strap that I sell as a different product. So it's only slightly wasteful. I will use most of it up anyway. So we're going to cut a second strip. And then I have very little of this left, but it looks like the perfect amount to make a hussy case. Line it up. Messed the ending, that's okay. So that is now the straps. This is what's left. This will go into the scrap pile. And I'm going to do a whole week of sewing scraps into stuff because I'm getting too many again. Don't fold it like that, but you know. Ah, don't fall out. That's worse. Should be right. Okay, so that's all of that. Now I need to pick a lining. Let's see what I've got. The obvious choice is this. I have crap loads of this. I'm just double checking that there's no better options. I could go more sugar skulls on the inside. Like I could do the rainbow ones. But I kind of like these fabrics better as an outer rather than an inner. And so because of that, I might just do this one. Future me problems will be doing only waterproof canvas, inners and outers and such. But it's a problem for another month. So this is going to be my lining. This is just a very cheap cotton fabric, but it works for this kind of stuff. So, but it is directional, so you need to think about that too. Oh my god! And sometimes you have to open way more than you want to get it to sit flat. Right. We require 2 of these as lining. You also want to make sure if you've overcut that we're not putting that in the seam allowance. You don't want cut bits if you can help it. This is also why blue pen is better than black pen. You'd see it so much better on this. But I don't think I've got one here. No, I've only got 2 black and a purple, and the purple's not very good either. It's only good for light colours. I'm just going to line those 2 up like that. Scribble across the top. I won't use a texter, even though you'd be able to see it better. I won't use a texter because it's more likely to bleed through your fabric, and nobody wants to play that game. Yeah, see, I have a lot of cotton to use up as well, which is why I've just bought myself a 50-meter roll of lining interfacing, which, let's be honest, will probably take me like a year to get through. But after that's gone, I'm going to switch to waterproof canvas linings on everything. Alternatively, I could like sell a bunch of my fabric. It has crossed my mind. Some of them I've done all the things that I was excited about doing, and then I overbought, and so now I've just got heaps more. Much like the sewing patterns. I bought them because they were 3 for 20 or 1 for 28, so it made sense to get 3, but I wasn't excited about half of them, and so now I'm just going to sell them all off. Well, not all. I'm going to keep the ones I do wear and do want to make, but that list is quite short compared to what I've got. And I'm actually thinking that $2 each will make a lot of them disappear because people will show up with $10 and take away half my patterns. I'm not going to keep that. Well, this is why I'm also avoiding going to shops lately, right? I'm trying very hard to use up what I have. But to do that, I need to just not look. And so that's what I've been doing. I've just been staying home. I've not been going online to websites. I've been doing nothing except using up what I have because it makes sense. Now, what's this? We did that. We need the gusset piece for a lining. Now, I'm going to put, because this is non-directional, I'm going to put it sideways so that when you look in the bag, they're going to face you. So that's something to think about when we put it together. But I'm thinking about it now because it's also a design feature. And of course, it doesn't quite fit there. Yeah, willpower. I don't have a lot of willpower. That's why I am terrible at organizing, because I see shiny things and have to do that instead. I'm putting way more pressure than I should. It is slightly dangerous. I do not recommend doing it. But also, like, I don't want to be here all day cutting. So, there's that. Also rubbish. Could not be helped. This is too long and I have to cut a bit off the end. I'm also not feeling, was there a zipper pocket and I just didn't read the instructions? There was a small chance. I feel the need to have a zipper pocket because you all know me. Zipper pockets are a thing. I like zipper pockets. It's where I keep my tampons. Judge me or you. Actually, that'd be cool. Make a cute little container for them. All right. Anyway, sidetracked. See? Sidetracked. We also needed one of these as a lining. If you wanted to, you could do both sides of the flap in the outer fabric. Just as another design option. Now that I think of it, that would be a good way to get rid of more of it, wouldn't it? That'll pretty much use up the rest. So with this, if you just pick it up and shake it slightly, it should kind of fold back into its pattern and then you can just roll it up. Another reason why I like these, although I've still got way too much of that. I might make a fancy overnight bag and use this as the lining. I have been in contact with another company that does a really fantastic looking overnight bag. So if they do agree to let me do the pattern for that, I will do that as a skull bag. All right, so I'm lining it up with the edge of here. We could probably point you down more, I suppose. Don't know how well this is going to work. It's a bit temperamental sometimes. I also like to put my hand on it. It helps to, by putting your finger near where you're drawing, it helps to stop it moving, which generally speaking gives me a better line. So this will be the inner and outer, because I think that'll look amazing. But no, willpower to not buy pretty things I see. It's also really hard in Townsville because, like, I'll see something I love and then I'll come back 2 days later and the whole lot has been sold. Like, it could be a brand new roll. And usually that's because the kids' clothing designers around here will buy things by the roll, which I fully understand, but it also means I miss out. So this is why I just don't look. If I don't look, I can't see stuff I want. And I still have so much fabric here. And I have decided that I will not die with the biggest hoard. I know there's a running joke about that, but why buy things if we're not going to play with them? So I've also stopped buying things by the meter. This is another little trick. I have found that most bags for an outside, you can get away with 75 centimeters. So rather having that strip of leftover fabric, I am skipping that entirely. What do you use for lining interfacing? A non-woven medium iron-on. It is cheap and glorious. I think the whole roll cost me, it worked out to less than $1 a meter. Let's put it that way. But when you iron it, and I will show you later, you have to iron it with the lining on the bottom and fabric on the top. If you do it the other way, it creates bubbles. So it is slightly temperamental. But it's cheap, it works. The whole point of interfacing is just to make it a bit stiffer. I used to use the woven, glorious, expensive stuff, but I personally find that I'm not getting that much less structure with the one that's like a quarter of the price. Now I'm going to keep this because I have plans, of which I'm going to show you on my scrap day. I am going to cut these into 3.5-inch squares and make little face washer, like face pads to wash your face with. I've already cut out all of the toweling. I bought a black towel. And so I would like to, hopefully this week, but probably not, we'll turn all of this into 7 packs. So there's one for every day of the week. and make them as like little face washy things. So I'm going to keep that. So there you go. Different brands. I don't really keep track of brands of stuff. Mine is like the Birch home brandy stuff. Where is it? It's here somewhere. It's probably under here. Doesn't matter. I'm going to have to get it soon anyway because we've got to cut it out. But in the meantime, I want black vinyl. I should buy shares in this stuff, honestly. Now, I won't be getting an actual strap out of this. This is all the black that I have in my house at the moment, which is fine, theoretically. As long as this fits, we're good. See? We're good. That's the biggest piece. We're good. The only other vinyl we need are these bits and a reverse of those, which will fit there. I'm also going to cut that off. That's ridiculous. Nobody needs that. But no, so I have plans. Plans on plans on plans. I'll line it up against the straight edge. One less thing to cut. Good night, Amanda. Enjoy your dreams. I know it's the wrong time for UK to watch me. Unfortunately, I can only do so much in time frames that I have. See, cutting it up like that, way harder. So I'm going to curve around there, chuck it in the tub. That will require no interfacing. Now, if you want to be pedantic, you could keep this. And what you could do is if you didn't want to hoard things, you could get this little bad boy and cut out strap connector ends, which I still might do. Now that I'm thinking about it, that would actually be really cute. So I made this myself out of acrylic because I have a laser and the lasers are amazing. My laser is not the fastest at cutting acrylic. Like, I couldn't really do it for business. But, like, you know, this works enough. So these are for 1-inch swivel clips. I'm also in the process of working through my 1.5-inch swivel clips, and then I'm only ever going to buy 1-inch because we can do that fancy strap thing now. So it's less hardware I need to keep in stock, which I always appreciate because have you guys seen my hoard of like hardware? It's getting out of control. So this bit's rubbish. I have no use for that. Oh, actually, hold that thought. I might, depending on how wide it is. Oh, would you look at that? So I do have use for this after all. Because I use little D-rings, this is the size I need. And then we just cut to the right height. And voila. It is the awesomeness of using one size D-ring for everything. Generally speaking, D-rings are just to put clips on, so they don't have to be huge. You only need the huge ones when you're going to do like an adjustable bag and you need to be able to like put your straps through the D-ring, in which case you get those big 40 mil ones. They are awesome. Somewhere in this jumble, there they are. So I have 2 Lord of the Rings bowls full of 2 different clips. These ones are the colourful ones, which are starting to get old, but are perfect for like joining pattern pieces together. And then the fancy black sparkly ones are what I use for sewing all the actual bags. I'm okay with it. So now we need to cut this. So again, we're going to grab this bad boy. And if I don't show you the end, you can't see the size and I can't get in trouble. Everyone's a winner. I'm just going to lay this along the edge like that and like that. Move it up a bit. And then we're going to cut. Like so. So that will not be getting interfacing. if you wanted to, you could maybe put some fusible fleece. But because of the size of the bag, I don't think we're going to need it. So I just won't be doing it. And so then we need to make sure that we cut one the other way. Please make a note to check that. Unless you're going to cut out multiple, it'll be less dramatic if you do it that way. Beautiful. So then again, I'm going to clip these to this. It's just easier when I'm doing videos to have everything together. Also, if it's a pattern you've never done before, having things together will make more sense as to how to put them together. It's like a whole thing. Right. So that's that piece completed. So that's all the vinyl. I'm going to just use strapping and sew the cool stuff on top. It'll look awesome. Just trust me on that. This now goes into my scrap vinyl box, of which I have gone through a lot of that and worked it down as well. I'm not going to cut these out right now, but I am going to chuck them in there in case I decide to use them. Because with me, who even knows? Now, interfacing. Here's where my mess will become a problem. We need external interfacing, which is this one. I finally used up one of the 3 rolls I had. So I used to sell this, and then when we moved up here, the end got water damaged. So we cut it off with like a jigsaw or power saw or whatever we use. And so now I've just got like shorter length ones, but it all works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a weird size now. So we're going to squish it down flat. So this is also a non-woven heavy. It's classified, but it's not that heavy. Feels like thick cardstock, but it's iron-on. This is what I put in all my bags, and I personally have not had any issues. Lots of people prefer woven. If that's your jam, I am not going to tell you off. You do whatever you want. There's also a hole right here, so we're going to avoid that. Don't need it to have holes without me creating them. And these ones, because it's like paper, it's quite easy to draw on. Less easy to stay straight though. This also might need to move before it falls. Like I said, I usually am not recording, so I can be a little bit messier with this. Whatever, should be right. Push it down. Oops. Very easy to go off track. Right, so that's that. Except I only needed one, so that was a waste. We only need one because there's one exterior, because the front of the other one is built differently. Cut it off near enough. So again, if I had templates for this pattern, we would absolutely be cutting this with templates, and we'd be probably nearly done already. I'm going to just add that to the tub. And then we need an exterior interfacing of this piece as well. And not the gusset. So we don't need to do the gusset because it's vinyl. And the bag's not big enough that I think we need interfacing on it. I could be wrong. We'll find out when I've made it. But things with little gussets tend to not need bag foam unnecessarily. But if you're using a super lightweight vinyl, like the glitter vinyls, I would interface those, or they won't sit nicely. There's so many like ifs. Do what, you know, your heart tells you to do. I don't know all. I don't pretend to know all. So this is called Vilene 1050F. Took me a second to remember that. I call it my hefty. It is technically classified as a heavy interfacing. And then the bag, the base stabilizer is classified as extra heavy. Personally, I would call this heavy, what I use medium, and then have light and extra light, but it's not up to me. So this is classified as heavy. I was sent some of the, what do you guys all use? Oh my god, what's the brand? What's the brand that you all use the interfacing for? Somebody sent me like some sample rectangles just so I could have a feel. Yours definitely feel a lot more gluish, but they're not that much different to mine, except there's like a thicker layer of glue, in my opinion, which makes them feel a bit thicker. They feel more rubbery because of all the glue, which is not a bad thing, just means it'll stick better, probably, or quicker, maybe. Decaville, that's the word I wanted. Right, so I was sent some Decaville to touch and play with. And it's not so bad. I see why you all like it. I also see that I won't be buying it. Because it's not that much different to my stuff, and my stuff is like the quarter of the price. But, in saying that, use what you like, not what I tell you to do. So this is like leftover from the last roll, but this is my lining. So you can see it's quite soft. It's still iron-on because I love everything iron-on as far as interfacings are concerned. And if we put it glue side down, you can draw on it like normal stuff. I am also going to turn on my heat press because, you know, relevancy needs time to heat up. All right. So, with that being said, we are now going to grab everything that requires lining interfacing and get onto it. Back with the ruler. Can you order from WayWap? I mean, I probably could, but they're in America, aren't they? And I am not, so postage is killer. Speaking of postage, I still owe, I think it's my turn to send Sandra a package. I'll get under that next week, I think. I also found a pile of legitimate sociopath rings that I made. So I might do a giveaway for those because I have a lot of them. I keep that bit there because I know that that will work for another bag I'm going to make. So I'm just going to leave it there. I like to waste as little as possible, so I'm lining this up in the corner. I know you can't really see that, but there's only so much I can do with the angles. My brain has also been going full steam ahead with moving inside permanently, where I set it up nicely, not just chucked in there like when the flood thing happened. So this is another reason why I want to stop using cottons as linings. There's this whole extra step where I have to cut out and trace everything. It just takes longer and therefore costs more because you need both the cotton and the interfacing. The downside to going to waterproof canvas is the one that I like, my thin glorious one, doesn't come in colors like teal. So I'm limited to, like, I know it's 11 colors, but 3 of those 11 colors are gray in different forms. So annoying. But it will be quicker to prep. So it is where I will eventually head. I'd do it now, but A, I just bought the roll of interfacing, so there's no point. And B, I have like a couple of $100 worth of fabric to use up. And I don't wish to be wasteful. It is the end goal after I've used up my stash. Not all of it, obviously, because a lot of it can be used for outside. But anything that I wouldn't put on the outside of a bag needs to become a lining. Or an apron. So I had the very real thought of turning them all into aprons because you use like 2.5 meters of fabric per apron. So I could make, you know, half a dozen aprons and use up a nice chunk of what I've got here. It is on my probability list. But that in itself takes time. I have to make a crap ton of binding, and I no longer have the Simplicity Bias binding makey thing because I blew mine up from overuse. Very sad. And then I got it fixed, and then I blew it up a second time, so it went in the bin after that. Yeah, see? Waterproof canvas. It's where I want to end up, but I'm just not there yet. And I would still need interfacing for like slip pockets that use the accent fabric, but just, you know, less. I'd like to just have less stuff lying around because now that I'm going to move inside, I don't want to be messy like this all the time. I don't enjoy being messy. I just get really excited about doing stuff and get sidetracked when, you know, phone calls happen or I have to go pick up my child. All right. That whole bag is now cut and prepped. I am going to keep this piece. You could get the top of the Vixen or like any of the zipper panels you can get from this piece. So don't throw it out. That's wasteful. I love that bias binding machine because the aprons that I do take like 9 meters of bias. It's a lot. Like a lot. Therefore, I like to do it. Now, let's see if I can make this come around. La 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 la. Can we see the heat press? Oh, we can. Look, I've changed it to green. I was having a moment. I literally cut a piece of fabric specifically to fit slightly bigger than the pad because I don't want to damage the pad. The other one that I was using was already going a bit yellow from all the ironing. So I'm going to hit auto because I love auto. It is my friend. And then we face these, glue side up. You can usually get 2 of these smaller ones because it's huge and glorious. I also apologize for the sniffing. I have taken an antihistamine this morning. Yesterday it was way worse. I ended up in bed because I couldn't stop sneezing. I also nearly crashed the car picking up my child, so we did not go anywhere yesterday afternoon. Alright, so I'm going to lay them down. This comes with the machine. It's a gloriously huge piece of Teflon sheet. Oh, I said auto. Come on. And then it counts. I don't know if you can see the screen. Oh, you can see the screen. There you go. Love it. Pull it out. Do it again. I like this. I did love my Viva one, right? Please don't get me wrong. The Viva one was really cool. But I like this one because it comes out instead of around. So I don't need as much space around it. Oh, I didn't cut a piece of... See, I already forgot a piece of interfacing. I need one of these shapes in the soft stuff. Did I cut it? I don't think I did. Anyway, so this doesn't fully fit on. So I'm going to put it on an angle. And then I'm just going to heat press it twice. Click it in. Down it goes. I don't have this one. This is awesome with the touchscreen. I love it. Oh, okay. So a little edge was folded up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push here, and then to make it stay, I actually kind of put pressure on both sides and then click it back in. I won't burn myself because I'm smarter than that. But that's how you solve that problem. Because I do not enjoy being burnt by anything. I love it when I'm smart enough. Smarter than myself sometimes. Also, you also find red goes quite dark when you iron it. I don't know why. Magic trick. If you were doing vinyl, you obviously have to do it the other way. I don't know who needs to hear that, but you know, make sure you do that. So again, this one, glue side up, and it's just the shiny side. For people that have never used interfacing, you're just looking for the shiny side. And then we pop this on top. So it's quite a quick little pattern, which is why I chose to do this one. It'll be fun. And if it's a cute little bag, I might replace it with possum pouches. I'm trying to have price points at my market. I don't want to have to make 50 styles of bags. I'm trying to pick like a happy 12, which still sounds like a lot, I know. The cat's mad. Yeah, my child wants a cat. I told him we can have one if it's free and it's black. I told him we can have a cat because black cats are magic. This is what I told him. We're only getting a magic cat. But I'm not going to go pay $600 for a cat that I know that he won't look after for more than about a week. It'll end up being my job. So if you put these on an angle, you get more ironing at the same time. That's not the right piece. Did I cut a gusset or did I skip it? Surely I didn't. Did I skip it? That's not the gusset, that's the other bit. Here's the exterior, so let's do this one while I try and see. This is why you should clip stuff together, people. The other thing about the way I'm pushing this down, because this is so hot, see how we've already got less of a curve? So if you're struggling to kind of put stuff down, heat it up for 8 seconds and then put your interfacing on. And it's gone from very curvy to barely curvy, which makes it easier to line your fabric up on top of. Ta-da! See, black cats are awesome. Anyway, so I told him that if we ever come across somebody giving away a cat and it's black, he can have it. And even though I've told him he'll be in charge of looking after it, we all know he probably won't for very long. Alright, so now that all these things are ironed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting them together and then clip the pattern piece to them. This is the easiest way to keep stuff organized, and you can see what you've missed because obviously I missed stuff. So I've got the interfacing for the gusset, but I forgot to cut a gusset in the... No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I did cut it because we had a whole conversation about making the skulls be the right way. It's fine. I'm just slowly going insane. Don't worry about it. I just had to empty out the whole tub to see it. Also, this is not as hot as I anticipated, right? Look, I can touch it without burning myself. I know I shouldn't, but that's really exciting because the other one, I kept burning myself. I'm going to clip these together, pop them in the tub because together is key. No! No, no, no. Damn it. There's a good chance this won't stick now. I'll put it on upside down. And this is part of the pattern, so I can't iron it now, but basically it's going to have like cool card slots like this, but neater than what I'm trying to do it with. Is it going to stay stuck is the real question here. The answer is probably not, but I'm still going to try. Never hurts to try. May want to find one at a shelter. Yeah, I see that too. Okay, so that end's not going to stick. I am going to make peace with that because it'll be sewn in anyway. Most of it's stuck, so we're fine. And So then again, I'm going to grab the exterior because it's always nice to clip pieces together, especially if you've never made the pattern before. It's just easier to know what's going on. So, with the exception of zipper, hardware, and strapping, that is technically prepped. That one's prepped. Now we're going to go back to the cat bag. So again, sometimes on an angle helps and sometimes it just, you won't get it. So you put it on however you feel comfortable. The other thing about having a cat is that I don't want it jumping all over my sewing machine, which I'm sure it will. I love this fabric. I do not have any more. This is literally the last of it. I have made it into as many things as I could, and now I'm out. I have also seen it in a dog form as well, for anyone interested. If you hunt hard enough, I'm sure you'll find it. But I'm not buying any more fabric because I am on a fabric ban. Watch me go. I'm allowed to buy more vinyl though, because A, black is like a staple in this room, and B, you need matching things to the fabrics. Okay, so like, yeah, why has that got ripples? I don't know if you can see that, but I can. It's going to annoy me. Let's see if I can separate it. No, I cannot. Damn it. Oh, wait. Hey. It's got ripples and I'm not okay with them. I don't know why it did. See, another reason to just use waterproof canvas. But not today. Not even this month. Probably not even this year. The auto function is amazing. I don't think you guys understand how much it's just easier. Prepping is the worst part of bag making. That's because you're looking at it the wrong way. Don't think of it as prepping. Think of it as designing, right? Because while you're cutting it out, you have to figure out where you're going to put vinyl, what fabrics you're going to use, what's a fun contrast. Do you want to use matching thread? Do you want contrasting thread? You've got to shift your mindset, because I also used to hate prepping, like hate it. Also, having the right tools helps. A heat press instead of an iron has made my process way quicker. So if you go back to when I first started, I used to have to iron all of this, and you hold the iron for 8 seconds and then you move it a little bit. And it used to take me an hour to like prep a simple bag. It was a nightmare. Since then, I have changed my mindset to realize that I am not prepping. It is the design phase. And I promise it's made it so much more enjoyable, because now I'm designing. I'm not just cutting. Don't think of it as, oh, I've got to cut. You are designing. Change your mindset, you'll feel better. I can pretty much promise you. Change your mindset, you'll feel better. Even though this does take forever, this helps. My other one, I have burnt a thing or two. Don't judge me. Because I'd be ironing, and then I'd be like putting stuff in the embroidery machine, which also is fixed now. She's 18 years old, I found out. This brand of machine is 18 years old. She's old. She still works though. I also don't have thousands of dollars to buy a new one. And why upgrade it if I don't need to, when I can't afford to? The only reason I would ever upgrade really is if it broke and I had the money to do so, or if I got an even bigger hoop, right? Hear me out. A bigger hoop means I could make that quilt the vinyl with pretty designs. Instead of just like rectangles and straight lines, on Urban Threads, there's like a dragon, right? I could quilt dragons onto plain vinyls and suddenly have amazing vinyls. Or you could do mermaid scales or, you know, whatever. So that is the only reason I would ever upgrade, is if the right one came along at the right price with a really big hoop. Tory pocket does not require interfacing. This has very few pattern pieces, also why I love it. So that's it for lining prepping. It's got 4 insides, including a Tory pocket, which again, you can do whatever pocket you want. If you prefer to do the pockets with the facing and then you turn it through and then have your lining as 2 separate pieces so that everything is directional, totally fine. I do Tory pockets because it's 1 piece, not 3. What's my biggest hoop? I have an 8x12, except it's broken. And I have tried to glue it back together because to replace it's about $150. And I don't use it often enough. So I would, in a perfect world, love to quilt this. But even if you took out seam allowances, the hoop's not big enough. But this would be beautiful as a Lola, like a quilted Lola, or a vixen. I would do vixens, let's be honest. So a bigger hoop would be better. Like a 14x14 rectangle would be perfect. But in saying that, I do still love this because most bag designs, when I'm putting like embroidery on a bag as a center feature, the 5x7 hoop will do most bags. Sometimes I use the 8x8. Never have I done a bag in the 8x12. Take from that what you will. All right, we're going to do the vinyl. So this is official shiny vinyl. We're going to put it down. We're going to take the bag foam. And then I have a separate Teflon sheet for this exact moment because the glue, I promise, will stick to your Teflon sheet. And then you're going to spend ages picking it out. Hate that game. So we're going to put it under. And it'll get all sticky and it won't matter. And I do 50 pounds of pressure. Or kilos of pressure, or however that works out. I just guessed. You can add more or less. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it's alright. Most of the time though it sticks, so. And then I just make sure that this is always hanging at the end so I don't get the glue from here onto the hot plate. That is how you have to stop and then clean everything. Been there, done that before. But no, so more, now that my embroidery machine loves me again, I do plan on doing a lot more embroidered bags. This cat bag was almost an embroidered bag, except that I just happened to have this vinyl. But again, I would need to buy less printed vinyls if I embroider. So I've gone from like needing a million fabrics and vinyls down to like base colors, waterproof canvas, and an embroidery machine. So I'll just have to hoard less, theoretically. That won't stop me from doing fabric bags though, because I do think they're pretty. I just also think that all vinyl bags last longer in my world because I am very rough with my stuff. Also, when you're letting these cool down, put them on a flat surface. If you put them like this, they will dry like this and then have like a weird annoyance when you're trying to sew them. And obviously, well, it's probably not obvious necessarily, but don't stack this on the other one because the glue from the other one will then stick to the shiny side and then you've got to sit and clean it and nobody wants to do that either. So that is now, even though this is the wrong tub, this also won't be a video. You've seen me do a million of these. And you guys have requested that I do bags with patterns I haven't done before. So there's that too. But that one is now also prepped. This is still a bit warm. It's not sticky to my hand, but if I put a vinyl on this, I reckon it would stick. But no, a brand new, very fancy, bigger hooped embroidery machine is like a dream, but it's not really a necessity. It's like one of those things that I don't need, but would be super cool to have. Hi Tori and fellow legitimates, how is everyone this fine super hot evening? I mean, It's hot here because I've got this on. I'm even hotter now. I'm regretting wearing pants already. But it is good. That is 2 bags prepped. So one will be a video, one I'm going to just smash out. And next on my list is, do you want me to continue? What brand is my heat press? This is a Locklick Auto Press 2. I am obsessed. I did manage to break it the other day. It heated up and then wouldn't drop down, but it was my fault. Whoops. My other one, the twisty one that I had, that was Vivor. That was still a great heat press, but this one's just better. This one is amazing. It makes the ironing part more fun because it's automatic. You click it in and it goes down itself. Counts however many seconds you want. You can tell it its temperature and how much pressure to put. Love it. Obsessed. But I always put a piece of fabric over the mat that they give you because, like earlier, if you iron it upside down, you'll wreck this. Whereas I can wreck this piece of fabric because it costs stuff all. I cut it just slightly bigger than the mat, not too big so it's dragging and getting in the way, but not so small that it like peeks out, because that's how you wreck things. And let's be honest, I wreck things. We don't even need to pretend like I don't. I absolutely do. So, moving along, let's come back here. I've got to move this out of the way again. I've got so many things happening. This is Kangaroo. Kangaroo was actually my most popular sale, like bag for sale. I sold the most kangaroos for the last 2 markets. If that's any indication for people, they like the flap, they like the crossbody, they like the size. You can make the bag without the flap if you're not a flap kind of a person. I've also got a DTF of Jack Skellington. I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to do an Empress with the add-on, partly because I am obsessed with that pattern. They always sell, and it's big enough. This isn't really big, so it won't fit on a Vixen, and it won't fit on a Lola, so it needs to be on a bigger bag. I mean, it would only just fit on a Belle Baby bag, but then you wouldn't see half of it because of the pockets. So that's most likely going to be an Empress with the add-ons. Yes, so somebody does do my templates in America. I think it's called That Template Place or something. Hold on, let me move this so you can see. There we go. Is that a bit better? I have decided to do a Beetlejuice bag. Partly because I'm trying to use up the stuff, but also because this glows in the dark and people love glow in the dark stuff. So I'm going to do, this is the Apothecary bag by Sincerely Jen. I know I'm late to the party with it, but like, I'm not perfect. So I'm thinking I'll do the small size, but I've also cut out the large size. So I can do both. The Teflon sheet on the bottom and the top. I mean, there's that too. There you go. All the options. So this glows in the dark. It was also from Inklings and the Kraken. I am obsessed with her vinyls. They're awesome sauce. So I have the Beetlejuice one and I have the Sandworm one. I don't have a lot of either, which is why I decided on doing the small. And then this I got as clearance from Spotlight for like $8 a meter, and it's Beetlejuice just without a face. So that's hopefully enough. I don't know. I haven't cut it yet. I've only cut out the pattern pieces. So let's prep that, and that'll be another bag probably next week because I can only get so many done in a day. I've also got the Rhodey bag trick by Cahill that I have cut out. That's a new pattern designer that's letting me do videos. All the things. So anyway, this is how much I've got. It's essentially a scrap, but I will not be defeated. I just need to make sure that I've got enough. Oh, maybe I did cut out a piece. Oh, I have. Okay, so I've cut out what I assume is a lining. I ordered glow-in-the-dark Beetlejuice. See, I am obsessed with color-changing vinyls. I have so many, like, UV ones and glow-in-the-dark ones. Like this. This is glow-in-the-dark. It's like a mottled pink and then it glows. I'm going to embroider it. I have plans. And it's like a decent piece. This is what I kept for myself from when I used to sell it. So this was my piece. I just haven't got around to doing it yet because the embroidery machine and I were not friends. But I've taken it to the shop. We have fixed the drama. Theoretically, all shall be well. I'm glad I've inspired you to cut out. You need to think of it not as having to cut. It's the design phase. I promise it makes you feel better. You're not cutting, you're designing. Sounds fancier, makes you feel good. This, I hate cutting things on a fold. I actually don't do it. I actually went and got a ruler, and the first one I did, I measured it all out. I don't cut on the fold. It's never straight. It never works well. Sometimes, if I'm going to make multiples and I'm not making templates, I will print off 2 lots and then join them together so it's one complete piece. Because this looks small, and then when you've cut it double, it's actually surprisingly large. So I like to see a visual representation of how much I actually need. And therefore, I either print them twice or I make templates out of MDF. Whatever. Cutting out can be frustrating. It is more fun when we do it as a chat. But some days I don't feel like sewing and all I want to do is cut out and design stuff. Because if you get in the right mindset, I just want to design. I want to design the bags that I'm going to make for the week. It's not that I'm going to cut them out. I get to do the fun part of designing. So like with this, I could add lime green handles. I have some. I have all the different colors. So we could do like a fun lime green handle. Do I want black vinyl? Do I only want to use the printed pretty ones? Do I want it to be chaotic? A little bit, yes. Have you met me? But like it's the fun bit. You just got to change your mindset. I promise you'll feel better. 2 lining. I'm going to clip these to it because we don't need anything else. I tend to only clip them together when I'm finished so that I know that I've finished. And then sometimes I also empty all of this out and put the finished bits in the tub. I'm also, if I wasn't recording, I would clear off all of this to give myself more space. I don't like not having space. All right, side panels. They're going to be not lining. We're just looking for lining panels right now. Lining. Lining. I'm not going to get all of these pockets, so we're just going to do the inside of the bag in that, and then the rest might have to be either the skull fabric we used earlier or waterproof canvas. I'd like to use up this though because I'm trying to use it up, right? And it's in this, actually, hold that thought. I just put it away earlier. If you've been here from the start of the video, you would know that I have a stripy fabric which matches his stripiness. So this I can use up as lining of pockets. I am determined to not have any basic fabrics left. Absolutely determined. So this is going to be the rest of the pockets that I can't get. So in saying that, stack all those up over there. And then, see, this is why I hate cutting on freaking folds. I need to make sure I've got enough. I have to cut it all the way up there. I hate folding. I don't think this is going to work, but let's try it out anyway. Lots of pressure, really slowly. Oh, far out. I nearly just had a heart attack. My dog, oh my God, my heart. Oh, you guys don't understand. My dog must be laying on the outside of my door, but when he moved a leaf with his tail. It sounded like a hiss, and then I saw like a shadow under the door. I thought a snake was coming into my sewing room. Oh, that was unpleasant. Oh, Really just don't like snakes, people. Gave myself a heart freaking palpitation. My gosh. Let's do this the easy way while I calm down from being ridiculous. I understand I'm ridiculous, right? Everyone's got a fear. Mine is wild snakes. Those things try to kill you. It's not cool. Seriously, heart palpitations. Thought a snake was coming in the room. There's nowhere to run. There's only one door in and out of here. And there's a gap about this big under the door, so a small, dangerous snake could easily come in and annoy me. My gosh. Yours is, see, spiders don't bother me. They're small enough I can squish, and they're slow enough I can squish. Have you seen how fast a snake can, like, strike out at you? Crap's insane. And breathe. All right, so there's the lining. Love it. I also love that this is non-directional. Makes my life easier. Don't have to think about it. We'll need an exterior though. So we're not going to clip that to it. And these are what I've got left. So again, this will probably turn into, it can't be anything else. I'm not going to do the handles in this because I have the beautiful glow-in-the-dark vinyl. So that's where I'm going to live. This is not going to be able to do anything else. I can't even get a Tory pocket. So it's going to go in my face washing things that I'm going to do another time. So with that being said, we're going to put that back. I have beautiful large hooks that hold a Tory pocket, a card slot template, and like my big ruler. It makes my life easier. Let's see how much of this I can use up. See, I've got heaps. There's like a whole meter of stripes. So I'm going to make this bag and then maybe for, oh no. I was going to say maybe for the Jack Skellington bag I could use up the rest, but I don't think that's going to work. Because I've got Jack Skellington fabric and I may as well use that. On the other hand, oh, staring at stripes hurts my eyeballs. Anyway, moving on. So I've done that. That only needs an exterior contrastiness. Exterior. We're looking for the word lining, if anybody's wondering what I'm doing. And I printed up the little cut list so I know what other bits I have to do. I'm going to just flip this over. I can't stare at that. It hurts my brain. Alright, so cut full pattern piece on fold. Ugh, frickin' unfold. Cut one exterior, 2 linings, 3 fusible woven interfacing. Alright then. I'm going to line it up along a stripe, right? So this is where stripes are awesome. Use the edge of a stripe to line it up like that. You'll get it straight. That is the one saving grace to this crap. Right, and then flip. Line it up along that same stripe. And everything should be even and beautiful. Like that. Alright, next. Hopefully this is going to use up a lot. I've never made this bag before. Does anyone know if you need a lot of lining? Because there does seem to be a lot of pockety pieces I need to cut. Not that I'm complaining. Also, do I need to be making a Tory pocket for the inside? 1, 2. Okay. Dash line number 2. Fold pattern at the line. So if I was going to laminate these, I would print this off a whole bunch of times and cut it at this line to have the different sizes. Just if you're going to make lots of them, little tip. You can't bend laminated, so you would cut. You would print, if it was me, okay, hypothetically, if it was me, I would print 2, 4, I'd print 6 of this pattern. And then I would have one flipped over so it's a full piece. And then I would cut them at the dash lines so that you can just trace around them quicker. I have a heat presser that's like a dry cleaner uses. Ooh, that's cool. You should pull it out. If you have one, you should use it. Use what you have. Or, if you don't like what you have, sell it and then put that money towards something that you want. That would be the alternative. Dash line, true lining. Onto it. Alright, so you can hear that beeping. That is the heat press saying that I have ignored it for too long and it's going to turn itself off, which is fine because I'm not ready to use it again just yet. No objections here. It's alright, didn't give me a heart attack this time. It is in fact just the dog waiting for me to emerge. Yeah, if you genuinely hate a tool that you have, sell it. Facebook Marketplace is everywhere in the universe. You don't even have to like post it. You can just put it on Marketplace. Somebody locally will think it is the best thing since sliced bread, that they can afford what you have, right? And then you can go and buy the thing that you think will work better. Like me, I'm selling off a whole bunch of stuff at the moment. I'm actually going to sell the badge maker. Now that I'm not doing hardware anymore, you guys aren't going to come and purchase like the magnets and stuff for the machines, which I totally understand. This is not me judging. I get it, because you used to just chuck them in with the hardware order. But now that I'm not doing that anymore, I'm going to sell it because it's taking up a lot of space. I don't really need it. And it'll give me money towards something else that I do want. Don't know what that is yet. But like, so I have seen on, especially on Etsy, I don't know why, I get a lot of like craft things pop up all the time telling me I should start a new hobby. Like I have the time. But I find that I've been seeing a lot lately, people are using the badge makers to make fridge magnets with photos. So you print off the photos, and then I've got the thing that cuts the hole, and then you turn it into a magnet and put them on the fridge. Now that's great, and I have all the stuff in a kit here, except for the blanks for the magnets. But I've got all the things you need to go and do that. But I have no desire to make that a business. I'm busy enough with lasering and sewing. I don't need more things. So I figure I can sell the whole lot as one big bulk package for less than I paid, and somebody is going to be so excited that they can afford to start that small business themselves. And I love that for them. I, however, will not be doing it, and I just don't need it sitting around in my sewing room taking up space. And again, it'll bring somebody else. I had so much fun when I first got it. Don't get me wrong. It was awesome. Loved it. But I don't use it anymore because my business has changed. So why not sell it to someone that will appreciate it, love it, and use it? That's all. But same with your heat press. If you don't like the heat press you've got, sell it. Put the money towards one you do want, that you will use, that is wonderful. Makes you want to go and design bags. See how I said design and not prep? Oh. Change your mindset. This is way more fun when you do. I assume I needed 2 of those. I did. All right, so that's them cut. I still have to cut interfacing. Ugh. This bag's going to take a while to prep. I can feel it. I've done Google looking for something different. I don't know. This is the Locklick, which is HTV Ront's like Australian company, sister company, apparently. That's what they told me anyway. I do love the heat press though. I have nothing but good things to say. And if you're super new, you can go into settings You tell it what fabric you're using, what you're doing. So it has the option of like sublimation, HTV, DTF. Like you tell it what you're doing and on what fabric, and then it tells you what settings to do it on. I also don't like to be told what to do by a machine, so I personally just stick to my 180 degrees for 8 seconds. But, like, I get it. And I don't sublimate. If I had a sublimation thing, I'd probably use those settings. So I have saved the settings that I like is in one of the custom favorite spots. So I just turn it on, hit custom, pick my thing, off we go. You know what I should have done? I should have top and tailed these. It only just occurred to me that it's non-directional. Too busy chatting. Not that it's a huge waste. I'm only really wasting this little triangle, but still, if you're using very expensive non-directional fabric, top and tail it, turn it upside down, you'll have less waste. I ruined some vinyl with it. Yeah, I've done that too. 180 degrees, 8 seconds with a piece of fabric and your Teflon sheet on top of your vinyl. Sometimes you need to do it twice with a DTF, but HTV, you should be able to just do it once at those settings, let it completely cool down, and then it should stay. Sometimes though, once I've ripped off that top sheet, I then press it again just to make sure. So yeah, and I set it to auto, so all I have to do is push the drawer in and it drops down. But that's because I'm probably doing different stuff to people that DTF t-shirts. I'm not going into that. As much as it would be cool to start my own brand of like comfy sewing clothes, we're not doing that. It's not a skill I have. I mean, I'd have cool ideas, but I can't digitally draw them. I wouldn't know where to go for it. No deal. But it would be cool. If somebody wants to start a clothing brand with all of my sayings, you are welcome to do so. Get onto it. You'd probably make a killing. You got to have comfy clothes though. So you want comfy trackies, and you want the elastic in the bottom so that the fabric doesn't get in the way of your foot pedal. I've thought this through, as you can tell. You want thin hoodies because you don't want too much bulk while you're sewing. You can always add on like a thermal layer, but I think thin hoodies, not the thick fluffy stuff, would be best for sewing. I made the Moon Dance notebook for a group that I went to a convention. Made 10. Oh, that's cool. See, I love DTF when I can't find an embroidery design. It's also quicker. And there's a lady in Townsville that prints them, and she gets it done in like 24 hours. And then I just drive to her house and pick it up. It's amazing. You just send her the picture, tell her what size, tell her how many, and then she adds it to her daily print list. So the other day I got one in like 2 hours because she was just about to turn it on and I got in for the print list. And as cool as it would be to have a machine like that, no space, no money. They're like $8,000. I would be curious though. I would probably pick a DTF machine over an embroidery machine just because it would potentially be easier. I mean, maybe not. Depends on how good the machine is. Like when I first got a 3D printer, I don't know if you've been here from the start, but I had nothing but drama with that thing. Whereas 3D printers now, they're amazing. They've come a long way where anyone can use them. So getting a 3D printer now is a lot different to when I got one. My one did not love me. It's unfortunate truth. I really enjoyed making all the skull bowls and stuff. All right, is that all of them? True false, it is. I mean, do I need to interface these? I don't know, probably. Oh, all those stripes are hurting my brain. In the tub you go. Are there any, where's this? We need to know if there's any interior pockets. Zipper tabs, zipper panels. Ooh, we should totally do that. Interior zipper pocket. Ooh, I mean, it's close to my, so we're going to just do a Tory pocket. Who are we kidding? We all knew I was going to do it. It's the same basic principle, an interior zipper pocket. Straps, crossbody connectors, shoulder straps instead of handles. I think we're going to just do shoulder straps for this one. Handles, handle connectors. Okay, so I just need a Tory pocket and then our lining is complete. Huzzah. I blame the TV show Catherine the Great, or The Great, for me saying huzzah. That's where I've picked it up from. I want the printer that prints your own fabric. Yeah, well, I mean, could you imagine? Oh my God. If I had a printer that printed my own fabric, we would go back to subscription boxes. I would pick a theme for the month, I would design a pattern, and then I would do the fabrics. But I don't have space for it. My friend apparently has one, but it's like 20 meters long, she reckons. It takes up like a whole shed. I don't have space for that. It would be cool. But also I can feel my indecision from here. If I had a fabric printer, I can feel I would get so caught up in people's crazy ideas of custom orders. I think it would actually potentially bother me. It is a great show. Greatly amusing to my life, that show. All right, done. So that's the lining. I'm not keeping this. And I've still got crap tons left. I might use it for a Jack Skellington bag, but I also do have a lot of Jack Skellington fabrics, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. I mean, I've got two. Two's not heaps, but two's still better than none. So we'll see. We'll see. It's not right now's problem because that's not the bag I'm designing. And this is how I get sidetracked, everybody. Put it back on the board. Put it back in the tub. Okay. So now I'm thinking I don't have very much, right? Always with the stripes. It's with me in the stripes, I swear. What are you? One exterior, two linings. Okay, so basically I need to make sure it's going to fit here. Okay, we're fine. I've got a little bit of room to fussy cut this. Actually, I've got all this room. Okay, so let's start here. Oh, no, it goes down at an angle there. No deal. Okay, so there's not as much room as I anticipated. That's all right. There to there. But then the word Beetlejuice is upside down. So if I do it here, then that goes upside down. Oh, it's so hard. So hard to pick. Lining it up along a stripe. You're just more likely to get it straight with a stripe. Do. Thank God we only need one of these. But again, using up my smaller bits of vinyl, which is also a good way to just have less. so much mess. Creating is a messy business, people. Messy, messy business. Rubbish. So much quicker with a rotary cutter and ruler. And like I said, this is sharp enough for vinyl. It's just not sharp enough for fabrics. Bottom. Check. So the next question becomes the top two bits. How am I going to do this? Also, back of the bag. What's that looking like? That's the back. Oh no. Oh no. My brain's having thoughts and I don't think I got enough. Small top panel. Small pocket panel B and C. Okay. If I fold that, what looks like half, I don't think it's gonna fit. And I didn't think about that. Whoopsies. No deal, people. So, is this directional? It is. That's the top. Okay, so let's do this piece. This is the back. And then I think I'm going to have to do sandworms for the two other bits because I don't have enough of the other one. See? Designing makes it way more fun. And also, use up your scraps. Okay, so that's the back done. Easy enough. And then I'll just need two of these bad boys. I am going to put a line all the way across the middle of this because I feel like we're going to need it to place a zipper. Which also means I'm going to want a solid color. We just need one. Cut two exterior. What do I need two exterior for? Does anyone know why we need two? Cut one exterior. This one says one. Does anyone know why we need two of the other one? One of that. Two of this. I'm gonna make it fit. Ha! Okie dokie. I mean, we've cut it. Let's see how this goes. Chop. I shall figure it out. You know what though? It is working through a lot of this scrap. So I'm still happy. It's not scrap, but it's like, I don't want to waste it, but I also want to use it up. Oh, it's going to look amazing. rubbish. Always have a bin handy. Makes life way easier. The one positive to having to cut on the fold is at least you know where the middle is. Nope, they're different. All right. Clip the pattern pieces, especially now. I'm going to clip the pattern pieces together. I also won't be putting fusible interfacing on it because it's vinyl. So they are Dunskies. And now I have even less left. These are going in the vinyl tub. We're getting there. So next up, we're going to do the lime green, like I said, hopefully. Again, I don't have a lot, so we'll see. But it's also non-directional, so I can put things sideways, and I appreciate that. So we need a whole bunch of these. The lime green is going to look amazing. The rest of the bag is going to glow. I've used up another whole piece of fabric. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, in my opinion. All right, so we're going to top and tail these like so. Because again, non-directional, and I don't like to waste things unnecessarily. And then we'll flip it over because we need two. And then two. And these are one of those you've got to trust the process things. And then we'll flip it this way. And line it up. And then cut two. Whoa, whoa. Keep going off the edge there. Hiya. Then I need to think about straps. Obviously, we are not getting any glow-in-the-dark straps because I am out. So, some options become just straight up webbing, vinyl and webbing. If there was a cool little Beetlejuice design, we could embroider it along the strapping. We're also going to need the base in the green. And the reason I'm no longer leaving a straight edge is because I won't have enough. And I don't need a crossbody strap. And sometimes doing it this way means that I've got enough for like card slots on a purse pal. Not that I make a lot of wallets lately, but I would like to start again. Also, I do want to make a coffin wallet, so if I've got a big enough panel of chunk at the other end, that would be ideal. All right, base, check. Oh, I haven't made these either. Contrast, so in this color. Okay. And then we're nearly out of pattern pieces, if that makes anybody else excited. We just need handles, which I'm not even going to get out of this. So we'll pick something else. And then we need this top panel. And then we're done. Happy days. And this is the small size, keep in mind. Can't only imagine how large the large is. Also, there will be no leftover vinyls. That's okay. Ugh. I'm going to line up the middle. I feel like it's going to be easier to do it like that. And then Whoops. Drawing a straight line on vinyl has never been my strong suit. What purse are we making? This is the Apothecary by Sincerely Jen. I have also cut out a, starts with M. Hold on, what was mini crossbody bag. I like the double M. We can call it things that make you go and I've cut out a Lola by Swoon, and I still have to, but we won't be recording that because I'm getting hungry. It's time for a snack. But I also need to cut out the Roadster, one of those, by a new pattern designer I have never done a video of. So, like, I'm getting there. You guys wanted more original content, and so I am prepping. I was going to do the live vixen with the piping, which I will still do as a live, but my husband was home and crashing around in the kitchen, so I decided that out here was quieter. That, and in the morning, where my machine currently is, we get a lot of backlight, which is a lot trickier to then see what's going on. I'm also going to cut that. This, not big enough to throw away, in the vinyl scrap bin. I usually don't have so much scrap happening when I'm cutting, but I am, again, trying to pick all the smaller pieces to just get them used. Because even though it's smaller, I can still get quite a lot out of it. Alright. 1, 2, rubbish. Mommy Nose says it's her favourite bag to make. Well, there you go. I've never made it before, which is why I don't really know what I'm doing with the cutting. I'm just imagining it and assuming that I'm cutting things that are going to look amazing. I could be wrong. I should maybe be adding more black, but I'm so sick of doing black bags. I've done nothing but black bags for a really long time now. So see how this is curling? I'm going to put it upside down, not now as it's turned off, but when I turn the heat press back on, once I've got everything prepped, I am going to iron these flat so that they don't curl while I'm trying to sew them. It'll make life just easier. And then when you clip this, try and do it really close to the edge of the fabric or vinyl. Because if you do it all the way in here, like this, you're going to have marks. So I try and put it all the way in the corner. It'll still hold. It's just less affecting of the vinyl. I do like the look of this bag. I assume it will come out beautifully. Clip it on in the tub. Look at us go. We are nearly out of pattern pieces. All that's left is handles, which I'm going to do nice long ones so people can sit it on their shoulder. Choop. And that's what's left of my beautiful green. This is called Spring something. Spring Bud is the name of this vinyl in the Pacifica Standard range for anyone that wants to order it. And Sewing Trade in Townsville, you can do an over the phone order and they'll just charge your credit card and you can get it shipped to you. So if you don't know where to get the vinyls, that's where I get all mine from. Okay, clip that on, done. These are all going to the scrap bin because they're not big enough to roll back up and stick in the vinyl section. But they will get used. They'll either get cut into squares that I have a plan for, or I can get like pieces of bags. That's why I watch Tips and Learning the best. There you go. All right, so we need a base stabilizer. Ooh, this is my roll of base stabilizer. It is a monster. I go through so little of this. I can probably only have one roll of base stabilizer for like 5 years of my life. Probably. I haven't actually tried that theory, but I've only personally had one for myself, and I went through one when I was selling all the bag hardware and everything, because I was selling interfacing as well. But I don't have room. I don't have a cutting table to do that anymore. And most people were just getting it locally, so there was no point. But again, templates would make all of this so much quicker. Which is why just here is a row of all of my bag templates. And I've got a few other ones. So I've got a laminated Belle baby bag from Swoon here. I have the Celine by Swoon. I have the Lola and the Nora Doctor bag, because there was a phase where that was a very popular bag style. The rest are mainly mine, just because I enjoy my patterns. But if I find other ones I'm going to make on a permanent basis, I will absolutely get templates for them. All right, base stabilizer. It's like cardboard. I love watching the cutting. Why is that your downfall to love watching it? You should put it on and watch it while you cut if you struggle to do it yourself, because then it's like in your face. You might work better. I'm up to the lining interfacing. Ugh. So I am going to get off here and do it after I clear off all of this in a rage, or not a rage, but like a big messy nightmare. But that's the outside done. I also feel like it'll need bag foam at some point. So I might cut some lining pieces of bag foam. I don't know. Still, I think we did pretty good. I have the large here, so I'll just set that aside. I'm glad I did the small, because I think it's going to look amazing in Beetlejuice. There'll be no more videos today, although actually I need to go and make something with my laser that's for a market stall. So I'm going to record that, because I feel like anyone that does markets and has a laser, it'll be very helpful for you. You can make awesome stands and they cost stuff all. I like to do things A, myself, and B, the cheapest way possible. So if it's cheaper to make it than buy it, generally speaking, that's what I'm going to do. Unless it's way too complicated, there's limits, obviously. But I've made these really cool twisty stands, and I'm going to make another one, but I'm cutting it with the laser. You could make a pegboard with it if you wanted to. You can just cut all the holes like a pegboard, but I'm actually going to use screws because I think it's going to look nicer. So anyway, I need to make that because I need it for Sunday, and it's already Tuesday. So that'll probably be a video. Whether it uploads today or tomorrow will be dependent on if I can be bothered painting and if it rains. Because if it rains, I'm obviously not going to be painting. It's a terrible idea. But thank you all for joining me while I did this. We've got 38 people here, which is awesome. I feel like we got a lot done. That Mallory mini bag is ready for a video. I will whip up the Lola with the cats. I'll just do that off camera. Maybe while the laser's cutting its stuff. And then I've got a few other patterns. So every Friday is going to be a laser video day. And then I'm going to try and do 3 to 4 videos throughout the week. I'm going to commit to like 2, but I'm going to aim for 3. And then if I've got nothing dramatic happening that week, I could probably fit in a 4th. And so the videos I'm talking about are like originals. So this is video 2 of the week. Laser video will be on Friday, although I might make it today and just release it then. Who knows? And then I've got, a couple of other ones. So hopefully, so long as life doesn't get in my way, tomorrow I will record the Mallory mini bag, which was the red sugar skulls you just watched me cut out. So if all goes to well, that's what will be tomorrow's video. And I will finish prepping this, and it might be Thursdays. Or I might do the roadie. It just depends. I've also got the Aries cut out by... Oh my god, who's that by? I don't know, but I've got the Aries bag cut out there that I need to record as well. So I'm always busy. My struggle... I also need to build a whole website. Spotify is getting quite expensive. And considering I'm only trickle selling patterns, I don't think it's worth me paying as much as I am a month. So I need to either go to Payhip or Squarespace, but it basically requires me to redo a whole website, which I'm not super excited about, but it'll save me money. So, you know, there's that. So I need to find time to do that as well. This is why I think I need a manager. They can just point me in the direction and off I go. Anyway, you should all go and design and cut out a bag. Get onto it. Don't call it cutting. Makes it sound like a chore. Call it designing. It tricks your brain into thinking it's super fun. Although I just had super fun trying to pick out all my things. I genuinely had a good time doing it, and not just because you guys are here. If I'm not live, I've usually got like my favorite loud music cranking in the background. Very motivational to put on music. So maybe try that if you haven't already. Whether you need headphones because people are around, or if you just crank it up on a speaker. That's what I do. Nice, loud. And different days I'm in different moods. So sometimes it's like heavy metal, and then sometimes it's Fleetwood Mac. Sometimes it's acoustic music because that's just what my brain's in the mood for, and it keeps me focused. So try that if you're struggling to cut things out. Anyway, guys, I will see you when I'm looking at you. Bye!